Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something that might sting. Have you ever felt her eyes glaze over, like the spark you once held in her is fading, yet you can't quite explain why? You thought you were doing everything right, but suddenly, she doesn't laugh at your jokes the same way, doesn't look at you with that softness anymore, and in your gut, you feel it. Something is dying. What if I told you that most men are blind to the small, silent behaviors that quietly suffocate a woman's attraction until it's too late? These aren't dramatic betrayals or explosive fights. No, they're subtle, often invisible to you. But to her, they're poison. And every time you do them, she loses a piece of the desire she once had for you. The truth is, women don't just fall out of attraction overnight. It's like a candle running out of oxygen, flickering weaker until it's gone. And here's the scary part. Most men don't realize they're the ones smothering that flame. You see, attraction is fragile. It's emotional, not logical. A woman doesn't keep desiring you because you pay bills or because you show up every day. She keeps desiring you because she feels something around you. Kill those feelings, and you kill her attraction. So let me pull back the curtain on what nobody teaches men. Women will rarely tell you these truths directly. They'll just feel different. They'll say, something changed, or, I don't know, I'm just not into it anymore. But what she won't say is that there were exact moments, exact behaviors, where you unknowingly made her heart step back. And by the time you notice, she's already halfway out the door emotionally. What I'm about to reveal isn't meant to shame you. It's meant to wake you up. Because if you keep ignoring these behaviors, you'll keep repeating the same cycle with every woman you meet. And the painful part? You'll think it's about her. You'll think women are just complicated, or that they lost interest for no reason. No, there are reasons, and they are sharp, psychological, and preventable, if you're willing to see them. So let's go deeper. Because the difference between being the man who keeps a woman captivated and the man who slowly drains her desire lies in whether you recognize these behaviors or let them sabotage you in silence. The first behavior that silently kills attraction is neediness disguised as care. Most men think showing constant attention, texting too much, or asking, "Do you miss me?" proves love. But here's the hard truth. It doesn't. It screams insecurity, desperation, and need over strength. Women are wired to notice energy, not words. When you cling too hard, it signals a lack of self-sufficiency. Desire doesn't survive in the presence of neediness. It thrives alongside mystery, confidence, and independence. Think about it. When she first met you, she was drawn to your presence, your energy, the way you made her feel alive just by being around you. She didn't chase because you were a prize. She chased because she sensed your worth without needing her validation. But when you start texting too much, checking in constantly, over-explaining yourself, or asking for reassurance, that energy flips. You're no longer the man who sparked intrigue. You're the man whose entire value is dictated by her responses. That's a subtle but powerful attraction killer. It's not just texting or calling. It's behavior in person too. Over-apologizing for tiny mistakes, laughing at things you don't find funny just to keep her happy, or bending your schedule around her every whim. It all erodes desire. Women want a man who has boundaries, who has his own world, who is not emotionally dependent on her approval, because attraction is emotional, not logical. The second you make her feel like her attention or affection is a requirement, you dim the fire. Here's what most men miss. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's secure detachment. It's being fully committed to yourself first, while still being emotionally available. A woman doesn't want a man who needs her. She wants a man whose presence feels like a privilege, not a lifeline. When you overinvest, you shift the balance. She subconsciously senses the imbalance, and her brain begins pulling away, even if she doesn't say it. I know it stings because your intentions feel good to you. You want to show care, loyalty, and love. But the truth is, Desire is triggered by emotional challenge, not constant comfort. You need to understand the difference between being attentive and being needy. The former attracts, the latter repels. Every man who ignores this slowly kills attraction without ever realizing it. Now that you see how neediness can silently suffocate desire, the next behavior is even more dangerous, because it disguises itself as confidence, when in reality, it's a subtle form of arrogance that pushes her away. The second behavior that destroys attraction is arrogance disguised as confidence. Many men think walking into a room like they own it, bragging about achievements, or constantly proving their status makes them irresistible. And yes, confidence attracts, but arrogance repels. There's a thin line, and most men cross it without realizing. When you overinflate yourself, you stop being intriguing and start being predictable, a man who only seeks validation from showing off. That's not dominance. That's a shield hiding insecurity. Here's the subtle danger. Women are drawn to strength, not ego. Strength is quiet, measured, magnetic. Arrogance, however, screams, "I need you to notice me." And it kills desire just as effectively as neediness. Think about it. If every conversation circles back to you, your achievements, or your superior opinions, it signals that you value yourself more than her experience, and attraction isn't a scoreboard. She doesn't want to compete with your ego. She wants to feel the energy that makes her heart race, the challenge that makes her want to invest emotionally. Arrogance also reveals itself in small ways. Dismissive body language, interrupting her, correcting everything she says, or acting like her opinions don't matter. These micro moments add up, quietly eroding her emotional investment. Women can sense condescension or superiority instantly, even if you're charming, even if you make her laugh. Her brain reads those subtle cues as danger to emotional connection, and desire fades. And don't confuse playfulness with arrogance. Teasing can spark attraction, but it has to feel like mutual energy, not a hierarchy. When you constantly assert dominance, even playfully, without balancing empathy or listening, it's no longer fun. It's emotionally exhausting. She begins to associate your presence with tension, not excitement. That's death to attraction. The ironic twist is that many men who display arrogance believe it's magnetism, but what they're really doing is building walls. Women subconsciously crave a man who can hold his own without showing off, who doesn't need to validate himself in her eyes, who's quietly secure. That quiet confidence, earned through self-mastery, not ego, is what triggers deep desire. So remember, confidence attracts, arrogance repels. The line is measured in energy, tone, and subtlety. Cross it, and you risk destroying attraction before you even notice it. And here's the kicker. The behaviors we're uncovering don't just kill desire, they often compound. Combine arrogance with neediness, and you've created a deadly attraction killer cocktail. Next, we'll uncover the third behavior, a silent, invisible action that makes a woman question her entire emotional investment in you without you even saying a word. The third behavior that quietly destroys attraction is emotional unavailability disguised as independence. Many men pride themselves on being mysterious or hard to get, thinking that withholding feelings makes them irresistible. But here's the truth. Women crave connection. They don't want you to pour out your soul constantly, but they need to feel that you're emotionally present, capable of vulnerability when it matters. When you're distant, shut down, or unwilling to share your inner world, she senses it immediately. And what she senses is not intrigue, it's a wall. Emotional unavailability is subtle. It's not yelling or coldness, it's small patterns, avoiding deep conversations, brushing off feelings, or hiding behind humor and distraction when she opens up. You might think this protects your masculinity, but in reality, it triggers her subconscious alarm. Attraction isn't just physical, it's emotional resonance. When she can't feel you, desire withers. Think of it like this. The strongest relationships are built on a push and pull of emotional energy. Too much pull, and you smother. Too much push, and you isolate. Emotional unavailability is a push too far. It makes her feel alone while being with you, like she's investing in someone who won't invest back. And women are wired to detect this mismatch almost instantly. The danger? You may never even hear her complain. She may just start checking out emotionally, her interest fading without confrontation. This behavior often disguises itself as strength or self-reliance. You tell yourself, I don't need to show feelings. She should just trust me. But trust without connection is meaningless. Desire doesn't live in logic, it lives in emotion. And the moment she senses emotional distance, even subtly, her brain begins lowering attraction signals. It's not about being perfect or always available. It's about being accessible at the right moments, allowing her to feel seen, heard, and emotionally stimulated. The key difference between a man who excites and one who repels lies in balance. Independence without emotional engagement is coldness. Mystery without accessibility is a wall. Women don't just want a man who can handle himself. They want a man who can handle himself and her feelings simultaneously without turning vulnerability into weakness. By ignoring this, men destroy attraction slowly, piece by piece. She may not leave overnight, but the spark fades silently, like a candle left in a draft. And once it's gone, no amount of charm or effort can reignite it unless you first recognize this fatal flaw. Next, we'll dive into a behavior even more subtle, but equally lethal, a mistake most men make every day that signals disrespect without realizing it. The fourth behavior that kills attraction is subtle disrespect disguised as humor or honesty. Most men don't realize how easily small words or jokes can chip away at desire. You might think teasing her, making sarcastic comments, or pointing out flaws is playful banter, or even honesty. But to her subconscious, it often signals that you don't truly value her. And attraction thrives on respect more than anything else. Here's the truth. Women are wired to detect whether a man sees them as equals, as someone worthy of his attention, admiration, and care. Every micro-expression, joke, or offhand remark is being measured, whether you think she's overreacting or not. When you dismiss her feelings, roll your eyes, or belittle her, even lightly, her brain tags you as unsafe emotionally. And desire, unlike affection, is highly sensitive to emotional cues. One disrespectful moment repeated over time is enough to quietly erode attraction. This behavior is often masked by confidence or fun personality. You tell yourself, I'm just being real, or she's too sensitive. But here's the hidden reality. It's not about being politically correct. It's about energy alignment. If your words make her feel small, undervalued, or invisible, her desire retreats. Humor and honesty are weapons when wielded recklessly. They can build attraction, or they can destroy it silently, without ever causing a dramatic fight. Subtle disrespect isn't just verbal. It's in how you react to her emotions, sighing when she shares, changing the topic, making her feel like a burden, or subtly undermining her opinions. It's the energy that says, you're secondary to my ego, and that energy kills attraction faster than any physical distance. Desire doesn't live in rational thought, it lives in emotional perception. She may still care about you, but that spark, the one that makes her want you intimately, starts to flicker. Most men think attraction is all about looks, status, or sex. But desire is psychological, almost alchemical. Respect is the vessel in which attraction brews. Take it away, even in tiny doses, and the chemistry dissolves. And unlike dramatic betrayals, subtle disrespect leaves no clear reason for her fading interest, just a growing sense of dissatisfaction she can't articulate, which makes you feel blindsided when she drifts away. Recognizing this behavior is critical because it's invisible until it's too late. The line between playful honesty and damaging disrespect is razor thin, and crossing it repeatedly guarantees one thing: her attraction begins to vanish quietly, piece by piece. Next, we'll reveal the fifth behavior, a silent killer hidden in your daily habits that communicates desperation without you even speaking. The fifth behavior that instantly kills attraction is predictability disguised as stability. Many men pride themselves on being reliable or dependable, believing that consistency alone will keep her hooked. But here's the harsh truth: predictability kills desire. Women crave emotional excitement, subtle tension, and the thrill of uncertainty in moderation. If every day feels like a repeat of the last, if your life has no surprises, challenges, or unpredictability, her subconscious begins to classify you as safe but boring. And safe never sparked obsession. Think about the women who captivate you. What makes them irresistible isn't only their appearance, but the energy they radiate. It's a mix of intrigue, challenge, and the unknown. Attraction isn't built on calendars and routines. It thrives on spontaneity, growth, and unpredictability. When you become the predictable man who always behaves the same way, her brain stops activating desire chemicals. Comfort replaces excitement, and over time, her emotional investment diminishes. This doesn't mean chaos or irresponsibility. It means creating energy and depth in your life that she can feel and engage with. A man who has hobbies, passions, challenges, and goals beyond the relationship naturally becomes magnetic. He communicates that his world is alive, dynamic, and worth exploring. Conversely, a man who's overly routine, overly available, and emotionally on repeat sends signals of stagnation. Women are wired to seek growth, evolution, and vitality in a partner. Lack of unpredictability signals emotional stagnation, and nothing kills attraction faster than that. Another subtle aspect of this behavior is over-explaining or over-justifying. When every action needs approval or clarity, it communicates rigidity rather than confidence. It makes her feel like she knows exactly what to expect from you all the time. There's no challenge, no spark, no emotional dance. Desire is not born from predictability. It's born from fascination. Here's the final truth. Attraction is not about being perfect. It's about being alive, dynamic, and emotionally resonant. When you mix neediness, arrogance, emotional unavailability, subtle disrespect, and predictability, you're essentially self-sabotaging. You may be unaware, but her brain has been quietly registering each signal, slowly dialing down desire without confrontation, leaving you confused when she drifts away. So here's your personal challenge. Reflect on your energy, your habits, and your patterns. Ask yourself, out of 7 behaviors we've covered, which one do you think you're most guilty of, and how will you change it to reignite attraction? Comment your answer below, and if this video opened your eyes, like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Because understanding these truths is the first step to becoming the man who doesn't just attract, but captivates.